Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. I am Paul Sisler, and this is In the Moment. And in the moment, I am no longer on Twitter. I've deactivated my account. I got hacked. Oh my. So you won't be seeing me on Twitter for a while. Please follow my other links and all that to Threads and Instagram and Facebook. I'm going to work on those, and maybe in the future I'll be back on Twitter. We'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, apparently the universe has decided that it has other plans for me. So I will not be on Twitter for a while. And all my friends that are watching that are from Twitter, I love you. I love you. But please, please come like, subscribe, and follow me on YouTube now, or Threads, or Instagram, or one of my other platforms. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And with that, I am going to bring it to Shadow Fox and Lee Two Hawks. Hello.
Hey, hello. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so many different changes are happening and yeah, we're just gonna today we're just gonna be it's gonna be like, oh my.
Oh my. I notice a new view here. The microphone's working real good. The picture's really clear. Why is that?
Oh my goodness, just because Creator has brought forward some great blessings and yeah, I have a new computer, so I'm so excited.
Ooh, oh my, oh my.
Oh, got to play with the bells and whistles and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a great blessing and truly honored. So yes, yes,
Blessings. We were trying to sit here and debate on what to talk about. Blessings. Blessings. Um, you know, Diana, her account got banned. Other people got banned. And we're all reaching out in different ways and we're talking and communicating. And Diana's been up there visiting you along
yes.
with Hermit. You
Mm,
know, we're making new connections. We're reaching out. We're getting to know other people. Everything is a blessing when you really take the time to look at it. It doesn't
yeah,
matter. Sometimes you might think, oh my God, I really wanted to be on there and spend my 12 hours a day, but I'm meant for other things.
yeah,
And now I can focus that time and I consider it a blessing. So I'm taking that approach to it.
yes. And this is the great time to just be able to step back a little bit, refocus, reorient, and really take a look at what's truly important within our life. Um, it just there changes are just happening. I mean, there's some stuff going on even in my our own personal lives, um small little changes here, changes there, and these things kind of build. So just know that at when life kind of like, they all say, well, when life sends you lemons, make lemonade, right? Or when life sends you rubies, you know put it in a ring. Well, honestly, you know, we just got to be able to step in and go with that flow and recognize that, in anything, there's a beauty, a grace, a resonance, and a flow. And this is the oh my. How are we going to react? What are we going to do? Where are we going to, like Lee Two Hawks always says, I talk about positions, but the edifice of life. What really? Where would you like to go with that? How would you like to live your life?
I have a question. What do you get when you hand in a dollar bill and get coin back? What do you get? What's it called? You get change. Yes. And isn't that what we're talking about? Don't you have to have a firmament, that dollar, in order to get the incremental solution to building into that firmament and with that firmament?
Yes.
So that's maybe part of what we might want to discuss is a delivery system we put forward towards building the monument of self.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add to that because over the last few years, I have interchanged conversation with, make note I use the word interchanged,
Uh-huh.
interchanged
I call
conversation with the both of you. I've interchanged conversation with Bryce and Benny. And, you know, if this would have happened to me, say 3 years ago, I would be fit to be tied.
Yeah.
I would be angry. I would be just, but knots in my stomach. I would be upset. I probably would have cried, because I would have been so angry and upset.
Yeah.
And now, through spirituality and stoicism, and really taking it on, I look at things differently now, and I didn't realize that until yesterday. I knew that I looked at things differently, but I didn't really realize to the
Yeah.
extent that I have changed. I have changed tremendously over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Well, the phrasing you use, fit to be tied, that create in and of itself, figuratively or the other way, fit to be tied is a limitation. And we talk about limitations a lot. And look at you now. You're freer. You're not contained within a certain aspect of putting information out.
Mhm.
You can go a dozen different directions and still be magnificent as you are.
Oh, well, thank you. I try. I try. I took
What?
3.
No, but Paul, I must say, and I'll give kudos where kudos is earned. Okay, truly, because in many of the discussions we had, or presenting of a different tool or a different way of looking at something, that he went, hey, well, I haven't tried that yet, but you know what? If I use my own reason and my own logic right here and right now, what I've been doing and the results that I've been getting, maybe not be exactly what I'm looking at. And so you've stepped forward and like implemented a few of them and tried them on for size. And that's the only thing that any of us could ever ask. I mean, we're all on this journey, and sometimes that road is winding and hilly and valleys and peaks, and
Lots
sometimes
of
it's
potholes.
just plain dirt road with nothing but potholes. Well, some of us who have traversed it kind of know, like, hey, when you get down to that, that 90-degree kiss me ass curve, there's a great big huge pothole there. Maybe stay to the left a little bit. But Paul, the kudos is here because I mean, seriously, somebody that was like, when we first started talking, it was like, what does this woman have to say to me? Right? Where is she going with this?
I've often wondered that.
Yes. But the kudos, man, you tried it on for size. And you said, you know what? Shadow Fox or Lee Two Hawks just said that there's a pothole down at the bottom of that hill at that 90-degree kiss me ass curve. And I think maybe I might just try to stay to the left a little bit.
I think we have almost sometimes are forced to be creative.
Yep.
In how we approach a difficulty.
Mhm.
If you're driving a car and it ends at a dead end, and the only thing, there's no left, there's no right, and the only thing ahead of you is a tall cliff, you have to learn to climb. That's the only way you're going to get out of there. There's no reverse. There's no reverse because the reverse is broken in your vehicle. And not only that, who wants to revisit the path? You already took that trail.
Yep.
So let's
You already been there and done that.
Let's learn to climb. And that's, I think, sometimes we're forced in situations like Paul has been here to do something different, to be creative, because we are essentially creative beings.
And Paul, seriously, even the work and bringing through some of the information from Stoicism and everything, and grabbing a hold of that emotional component, like before, if it happened to you years ago, perhaps maybe it would have really kind of offset you. Here's the major key: when life presents itself, and say you're not getting lemons. I mean, you're getting what? buckets of manure. Um, yeah, how are you going to respond to that? It's the time duration and the focus for which we give it. And we can choose, like, no, this is what's happening. I'm okay with it. And I'm just going to go on with my life because there's a hell of a lot more to life than, what, the Twitterverse or the internet or anything.
I think
Yes.
we have to learn to recognize nuances as well, because you mentioned manure. Now, cow manure has a different odor than horse manure, and that has a different odor than goat odor, and that has a different odor than pig. I know, because I raised all of them.
Obviously, you do know shit, Lee.
Yeah, he's playing this. Oh, my,
Well,
sorry, guys.
yeah, so those are all nuances to the world of manure. So, and
Put some shit kickers on.
that's right. That's exactly what you got to do. Any situation you're faced, you can't get up, put your shit kickers on. You'll be fine.
Yep. And for me, I'm just going to take that manure and just go till it out with the soil and plant some
There you
seeds.
go.
It makes
There
great
you go.
fertilizer. So,
Yeah,
where other people
absolutely.
might think it's just a big old pile of, you know what? Me, I see that as, oh, wow, I can use this.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. And I took like that 3-month break from YouTube and I wrote
Mhm.
my book. My book is done. I'm on my last chapter of editing, which that's going to be finished up probably today. And it's going to be ready to be submitted. And, now I can concentrate on other things. It's where some people might look at this as a door has been closed upon them. I
Mhm.
look at this as a new door has been opened for me. That door
Yeah.
has been shut behind me. I don't need to go back through that door. I've been
Yep.
there, done that,
Yep.
and now I got other doors to go through.
Hey,
So,
Paul, my mother always used to say, do you know how you get God to laugh? And she'd say, do it your way.
yep,
And so, at least this way, Paul, it's like stepping into the flow. This is what is presenting itself. And that allows us that freedom. That allows us that freedom of creativity to be able to perhaps take a different stand in a different position. I mean,
yes,
seriously, if you're standing on the mountaintop looking down, you got a beautiful view. What if you were standing on the lowest part, like right next to the ocean? You have an entirely different view. If he's down at the ocean and I'm up on the mountain, he's got to look up to see me, and I will look down to see him.
yep.
Oh,
You
okay,
know, you
pick
know,
your spot.
if I'm to be honest and all that, when you and I first connected, though there were some things that I really, you and I just were like right in line with.
Mm-hmm.
There was other things that I'm just like, okay, she's just spouting goobly gook.
Yep.
It's just like,
Yep.
this makes no sense. This makes no sense. Okay, she's out there a little bit, and
Thanks. I love it.
well, no,
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I thought there
No.
were some things that you were out there on, and
Uh-huh.
it's like I'm a well-read person. Okay. I have read a lot of philosophy. I've read a lot of spiritual books and stuff like that. And just because I couldn't connect at that point in time,
Yep.
I, brushed it off as nonsense, because I am a man of logic and reason.
Yep.
Okay. I'm a man of science. And when you started talking to me about these things and was trying to educate me, at first,
Educate.
yes, and at first I wasn't open to it because I already had my mindset.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I forget what it was, but you had said something that resonated and it made sense. And that opened the door to maybe I should listen to Shadow Fox a little bit more. And every word that you said from there on out, I was keyed in on. Even if I had a different belief system
Yeah.
or a different thought process, I opened my mind to it. And that allowed me to connect to a lot of things that I just did not know I could connect to.
Ooh.
And it's opened my mind up to a lot of things. So now I know you're not off your rocker. I know that the things that you talk about make a lot of sense, and I can relate to it now.
I'll tell you, I have a rocker and I love the rocker, man. You can come visit me on the rocker any old time. And that to me is an honor, man.
Right.
That grandma's on the rocker.
But I wanted to add to it because it's like a lot of the things that I had learned through philosophy, I also thought was garbage, you know, and that helped me open my mind back up to more philosophical things again. And then, of course, Bryce and Benny with the Stoicism. I've been doing a lot of rereading. I mean, I reread Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. I reread, Rene Descartes' First Philosophy. I've done a lot of rereading. I've got Plato back here that I've reread, and I've gotten out my philosophy books and looked at different things, and the intertwining that I see between the two, I'm just like, oh my, the connection. Oh my. Oh, Shadow Fox said this. Oh my, Shadow Fox taught me this. Oh my. Oh, brain blow up. Oh my God. So I look at things in such a different way now that, all I can be is open to this. Why would I be frustrated with something that the universe has decided is not necessary anymore? I have other things that are necessary, and that's where I'm being led and guided to. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome.
Well, I've always admired Hermes Trismegistus. He was the first one to say, as above, so below. That's what he kind of passed on to the rest of us, however many thousands of years it was. And things haven't changed much. I've always believed that life is a gift. I hear people saying life sucks. No, life is a gift. We're given that ability to breathe, to live on this earth. What screws it up or what enhances it, one or the other way or the other, by choice, is living this.
Yeah.
How do we live our life?
Yes.
How do we, over time, get rid of those things that seem to block us, that seem to turn us into angry and vicious entities instead of loving and kind and understanding people? Or I've known people who have gone from vicious and angry to being loving and kind.
Yeah.
So there is that ability, because again, I go back to the fact we are creative beings. And so we can create the reality we desire.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I tell you. Oh my.
It truly, life always presents amazement to me. I find amazement, like even in like some of the spaces that we do, and we'll speak upon something and we'll bring it forward. And hey, we're not everybody's cup of tea. We know that. But there are those people, just like you said, hey, Shadow Fox is talking whatever. She's off her rocker. Actually, I'm on my rocker, but that's besides the point. And yet they can hear what everybody else is hearing because I'm the one that's presenting something. They interpret it the way and how they've either learned something or what their particular resonance is. And we've talked about this a little bit before, Paul. You can get up on the wrong side of the bed, and then through the rest of the day, you see things that are miserable. It's raining, it's cold, or it's beautiful sunshine and it's hot and it's miserable, and you're in 110 degrees and it's like a desert. It's like, ew. Okay, who likes that sweat? Well, yeah, I know. The point being is that I've noticed, different people making different comments about this or that, or, I don't agree with what so-and-so's brought forth, and that's fine. Then don't agree. You know, you're welcome to continue on the path with your views, so on and so forth. But I will ask, we will all get a result. No matter what we do, we're always going to get a result from our thoughts, what we're focused on. Is it a rainy day and miserable, or is it a rainy day and the plants are getting watered and we don't have to water them today? Okay. There's always that choice. So if our basic instinct is to be diminishing what another person has brought forward, if somebody could write this beautiful thing, and it's like, oh, could be like somebody's writing a doctorate, or if they've done all this research and they're bringing all this information, and then somebody has to go and dismantle everything. To me, that just means that that person wasn't creative enough to think of it themselves. So they have to uh, cut it down and put hurtful things out there. Simply, I remember when I think it was the woman. Oh God, Barton is her name, or I can't remember. Whoever wrote The Secret. Okay, there was a lot of influx. She made a lot of money on this. She's, whatever. And it was a big movement. And I'm thinking, this is really great that for the first time, people are becoming awake. It was introduced. I mean, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years, but this one person came forward. And there's a lot more steps than what is necessarily presented with her. However, I thought it was a beautiful opportunity for people that have never been introduced to something like this to be able to try it on for size and see how it works in their life.
Yes.
And then it was a couple of years later, somebody else wrote a book and says why this law doesn't work. It's like, well, just reading the first little part of it, you can understand why the law doesn't work in his favor, or he has not been able to apply it.
Properly.
Because so like I said, everybody's a cynic in some aspect. um Again, we spoke before about reducing or relinquishing to a certain degree biases.
Yep.
Okay, different ways that because seriously, if we hold on to those things, there is no movement.
Right.
Because you know what you know, and nobody else is going to tell you any wiser. It's like, I've got a beautiful recipe, Paul. I can give it to you. We can put all the ingredients in. Okay, we'll mix up the batter. But if you don't turn the oven on, and if you don't put that batter into the oven, do you really think you're going to get a cake out of it?
No.
This is a cakewalk.
The thing that has resonated the most with me was when you talked about serving self and self-serving. It's the one thing that when I go into a stoic space, I go into any space, and I see somebody that is self-serving. I talk about serving self versus self-serving. And I think that's probably the thing that resonates the most with me. And it's the one thing that I carry on and teach.
Yep, Paul, all it was a tweak. That's all it was a tweak. It was just a perception. It was just change the point of view.
Yeah.
Stand on the mountain or stand at the ocean's edge. It makes no difference where specifically you stand. It's just when we can give a moment and try to understand someone else's point of view, or their trials or their tribulations.
Yep.
There's things that you have in your own life have lived through that I have not experienced, or that Lee has not experienced.
Correct.
So how and how could either one of us stand in judgment or say, no, you were wrong for taking that action?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, seriously, because Paul, I love you, but you know what? I will give you the benefit of the doubt 100%, because truly, I don't care to put my feet in your moccasins or your clogs. What were they called?
Crocs.
That's it. They wouldn't fit.
They are pretty big. They are big shoes to fill. Literally.
You I think one of the things we have to have substand, and if we understand the word understand, understanding something, you're standing in with an under without using the word understanding, I can't say it. Anyhow, you're knowing what they're saying and you're providing the listening ear. You're understanding them.
You're under that radiant.
So in working with life, one of the things that I have learned and still have to practice is providing a sense of rhythm to everyday living. That doesn't mean get up same time every day, brush your teeth, do it. Those are good things. That's part of a rhythm, yes. But when it becomes occupied in our mind as absolute and it has to be, then it becomes something else. What we have to do is make those things of rhythm provide for us a dedicated route of livingness. That would be so part of a rhythm is having breakfast every morning, having lunch each afternoon,
Grounding.
having supper
Grounding.
at night, and you can explain grounding later if you let me finish. Thank you very much. Anyhow, we do this all the time. Please understand it. But I do want to make a grievance noted. I had bought a chair that rocked back and forth, an iron chair. It's an outside chair, nice seat on it. Everything was so nice about it. I went for me, okay? You sit on it and you just go back and forth. The seat moves like this instead of like this.
Right.
So back and forth. It was a pretty neat chair.
Yeah.
So she sat in it and she said, "It's mine."
No, he will be no. He brought this chair and he's like, because it was this chair was really, really nice. And he comes in and I know what he's thinking. Well, I just went and did this purchase. If I tell her it's for her, then I'll be okay with this. There's not going to be any flashbacks and go, no, you bought what? You know how sometimes married people, do that.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
I had the same wife.
He comes home with this rocker. Now, this was what? Probably about 8 years ago?
About 8 years ago.
Yeah. 10 years ago. And he breaks this beautiful cast iron chair. Is beautiful. And he says, "This is for you." And I said, "Oh, yes." He did. See, he bought it for himself, but he expressed that I would be able to utilize the chair. Okay, this is where we get into all these little these
we call them spats.
intricacies. Okay, so so like it's kind of like how within the actual law, 9/10 of the law is that ownership. Okay, so it's like if my butt's sitting in it, it's my chair.
Guess what happens when you're not sitting in it? Who sits in it?
You do.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
And how often is that? Because you sit there all day.
Yeah. If I'm sitting outside, hey, you can always come sit on my lap. And there have been times where he's been sitting in that, and I pretended that I don't even see him, and I just sit on his lap. It's like, ooh, it's awful bumpy here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, again, and we kind of joke about this and we share this, but again, it's how do we interpret what somebody says? And then we take action upon what somebody else has said. Because I'm going to tell you guys this. For real, he really did buy the chair for me.
That is a negative.
That is an affirmative. Seriously, I have an ironclad memory when it comes to this.
There are pores in the brains and sometimes they leak. Yeah.
Again, I tell you, everything I ever bought for me, I bought for my wife.
Exactly.
Yeah. See what what's mine is mine, and what his is mine.
Yes. I needed a new hammer. So, yes. No, honey, I got this for you, but I'm going to be using it out here in the garage. Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Paul. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly
This
fine.
new table saw that I got. Yes, we absolutely needed it. I got it so I could build things for you, honey. Yeah. So it's for you. Yes. Yeah. No, I know. I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that in itself, especially in a partnership, whether it's marriage or just living together, is a rhythm. We
Yeah.
understand that certain exchanges that take place between us don't have the meaning of the words. It's the meaning behind the words. Like we're kidding, we're
Correct.
teasing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never say anything ill about her. Well,
Yeah.
anyhow, but she would know that if I did, that it was in a manner of trying to either bring something out that needs to be spoke about, or simply ridiculous. She would know it would be ridiculous.
Yeah. And so it's like seriously, like the thing with the chair, it is um when you take a look at the scope of all of the things that can happen or things to fight over in a marriage, okay, in a unity, okay. Seriously, this is what we pick is the chair. And I'm telling you, I've got little chair pads on it for outside, and they are all cushy, and they are all melded to my butt, and they are my cushions. And he's welcome to sit on it at any given point in time.
You say that in public.
Uh-huh. Of course I do.
What is
You
really?
think I'm a fool? We are presenting and we are joking. I mean, this is that part that we speak about, like, is something harmful? Can we joke about something? Is it really going to cause pain to someone? If it does, we don't. We will never do something like that. And this is, these are these stupid little things. I mean, come on, a chair? Seriously, people? You know? And the same thing about who gets custody of the dog. Who gets custody of the apple tree? Well, I planted that apple tree. Yeah, and these are how we perceive things, how we interpret things, and those actions that we come forward with. We have a choice. We can do it. It should be a cakewalk. Pain and suffering is optional, people. If you really think about it, if you really choosing to step into that pain and that suffer and the misery, and it's a rainy day and it's cold, hey, you're welcome to go there. But I'm sorry for me, and I will speak for my husband, even though he can speak for himself. We're not going to go there.
One of the things I have for standing my ground is essentiality. Is it essential that I promote an argument about a ridiculous issue? Doesn't matter. Oh, my little ego got hurt. Wham, wham, wham.
Get over it.
We get over it. That's my favorite saying. Get over it, because it doesn't matter. It's not essential.
Yep.
If there is a chord struck of something that is essential, then discourse takes place. We talk.
Yes.
And we still may not change each other's mind, but we'll accept each other's position.
Yes. And then that's when we pull out the veto vote.
Yeah, I have 51%.
It's quite funny and all that. My wife and I, we very rarely ever argued about anything, but when we did argue, it was a conversation. It wasn't yelling, screaming, name calling. It was a conversation, and we would sit there and go through our Lincoln Douglas debate and play the pros and cons of everything and lay it out. And in the end, we would either agree to disagree, that no, I still see it this way, you still see it that way. Unless you can think of anything else that we can talk about on this, I think the discussion's done. And we would let it lie because that's where it was at. or we would usually come to some kind of an agreement, and they'd be like, oh wow, I didn't look at it that way, now it makes sense, you
Yeah.
know. And that's the one thing that we always had in our relationship, was the ability to talk things out.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in this world today, there's a lot of people that is what Bryce calls, they don't come to a conversation in good faith.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
someone that comes to a conversation in good faith, I can talk about anything with anything. But if you're not going to come there in good faith and you're there just to argue a point, then there's no sense in wasting time.
Okay, so here's something, Paul. There's 2 points that I like to make. And again, this is just a little exercise in shifting the perception on how we can view something. Now,
Yes.
you heard both of us at the same time say we each had 51%. Okay. In reality, the person that holds the 49% gives the allowance for the other person to carry that 1%. So that person has 51%. So when you really think about it, when Lee Twox and I, we were working through this a little bit, we would always argue about who had the 49%, because the person who had the 49% was the one that had the actual veto, because it was like, here you go. You've got it. I've given it to you. So if I've given it to you, then I'm the one that holds, it's the power struggle, right? That people have in relationships. And let me show you, you can watch this, view it right on TV. You know, they say like, okay, you have same leaders, world leaders come in, and when they shake hands, who's going to be standing on which side? Because shake my hand for a second. When you're shaking hands, you see my hand. So my hand is closest to the camera. So guess what? I'm the one in charge. What if? So wait, you can also see it like when people are going into a building. Now I studied this thing. I was cracking up. I'm laughing. I can't remember who was president at the time. I don't know if it was Clinton or
Lincoln?
yeah, Lincoln, right? No, Bush. Anyway, they were having a conference, and there were world leaders that were coming up, and there was this cement platform, and they were coming up the stairs, and a bunch of the leaders were to go into this building. Um, when you think about it, when you bring someone into your home, if you're, outside, you open the door, say, just enter, you allow them in first. Who is the one that carries that ownership? The one that walks in first, or the one that carries in the follow-up, that brings up the caboose? So it's like those people, like, me first, I'm the leader, and this is my house, but follow me in. They've given their power away. Now, it's just another way to look at things. Okay, there could be people that will, perhaps view this a little bit differently. But if you sit back and you literally watch the flow,
Yep.
you watch that the interplay of stuff. So for instance, I may be carrying packages, um, and Lee will come to the door, be carrying packages also. And what does he do? He will open the door and he will allow me in first, and that should be because I'm carrying heavy packages, and so is he. But guess what? He's my rock. He is that. I mean, if he just went and opened the door, let the door slam on his ass on the way in, I'm sitting there holding. It's like, wow. Think about how these things are, how we present ourselves, because it's also those actions. It's also those micro things. Does my hand have to be right here to the camera, or can I take that stand and be the 49%?
Right.
Ooh. So again, if you're bringing up the training, you're bringing people into a facility, welcome everyone. Welcome. Everything is presented. Everything is ready for you. Please enter. This way, that last person is the one that makes sure everyone is, well, let's just say in into the building. No, there's no left stragglers. Everybody can find their own place. Come on, we got nameplates on it, like, President such and such, and, dictator over here, and, all of these things. Just be aware. Watch. Watch how life reveals itself, how people are behaving to you. And if it doesn't resonate with you, then why would you act that way?
See, I'm not much on power. I just
The
true power I know comes from a certain place that most of humanity does not understand.
Yes, for real.
And that is power of the internal growth.
Yes.
And
Yep.
what does, to use this term in way I would use it or not use it, is I think grace and courtesy have such a greater impetus. We'll call it impetus. In human motion. Than does I am the leader, I am the guy that's going to get there first.
Oh, I remember that one that I was speaking about. There were two world leaders, and they were coming. There was some kind of a summit or something, and two of them were kind of like at war. And the one says, "No, you go in first," and the other one says, "No, you go in first." And they're at the door. Literally, they got to have their hand on the back and all this, like they're being pushed in, and the other one's like, I'm not going in. It was like, guys, the door's big enough. If not, you can kind of squish in. You can both walk in together if you have to, but you're going to fight over who goes in the door first. So this is, you can find it on the internet, Paul. I really don't remember the time frame.
Right.
But
I know what you're
literally having a fight about who was going to get into the door. So it's kind of like, what I say gives that little bit of credence. And, the people always got to make sure you have the hand on the back. These are those things that we do that are acceptable and whatever.
To me, that is absurd.
Yes.
As you can't wear white slacks after, what is it, Memorial Day or
White
something?
slacks, yeah.
White something. That's just absurd. That's just silly.
So again, these are those things, but watch for those rhythms. Watch for those things about how, people are constantly in power struggles. They think power, they think money is power. They think, a position, like I'm a CEO of a company, so I have this great power. It's like, yeah, okay. We may choose to start rethinking this a little bit.
Oh, most definitely. And it all comes back to ego. It all comes back to ego. Ego is self, and if you can't control self, you can't make sure that self is understood by self, then there's going to be problems, And when it comes to like walking through a door, I'm always going to allow other people to go before me.
Yeah.
And if someone turns and says, "No, after you," I'm going to say thank you and I'm going to walk through.
Yeah, exactly.
No problem with it.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
You're not taking away from you're not taking away from my courteousness,
right?
By being curt yourself and saying, "Go ahead," and if your intent is to be the most courteous one, then for some reason, if you need that, I will give it to you.
Well, that's why I hold 49%.
It's slowly becoming 46%.
Yeah, that too. but again, this is where sometimes people can have fun. It's not, this is what makes life sometimes enjoyable. And if you notice, when we both said it at the same time. We each have 51%.
Right.
Yeah. But that makes 102%. So it's greater than the whole.
Yeah, no, well, see, I already know that Shadowfox thinks that she wears the shoes in the house when we already know it's Lee.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we have our little
Shadowfox only thinks she does and presents as she does.
No, in certain things, no. But no, in certain things, yes. In certain things, it is my voice that will absolutely positively come forward. Okay, like when you come in from outside, take your shoes off. Period. With him, There are so many things. It is he runs the show. I mean, seriously, it is, and I'm okay with that in so many different capacities. But the thing is he steps back and allows me to think that I have this, and he just says,
That's what I
"Yes, dear."
said.
He says, "Yes, dear. Yes, dear." But you know what? We each know our, what would it be? Kind of like a role,
Well,
or what would it?
our relational comfort.
Yes, and there is that interconnectedness, and it's like you can't have too many cooks in a kitchen, right? So if he's looking to cook it, if the heat gets hot, I'm out. It's like, go ahead, I'll sit down, I'll enjoy, I'll do all the cleanup.
We
So
know when
we have a
how
thing.
quickly
No,
need to
we have a
cook.
thing. If I cook, he'll do the dishes. If he cooks, he does the dishes.
Yep.
No, I do.
The first one was correct. Anyhow, one of the other words I have difficulty with, other than power and other things we've talked about, is dominion.
Yeah.
I'm all for partnerships.
Yeah.
I'm all for working together as much as two people can or a group can.
Yes.
The only reason to have a group leader is for guidance. It is not for control.
Yep.
It is not so that the leader can have its way, something
Mhm.
like the Speaker of the House,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yep.
So, to me, it's important to have that status, recognize the other person as a human being. They have certain needs, certain requirements.
Yep.
I have my needs, my requirements, and we'll work those out.
You know,
Fine.
what makes an excellent leader is a leader that learned how to follow.
Yes.
Because if you don't have those components, and this is what happens, Paul, even in the with officers, police officers, perhaps they have never ever had an opportunity to be in a position of authority, and they bypass certain things, and that little ego, gets rah rah. Well, I told you to pull over and stop or do whatever. Do not question my authority. And somebody asks, well, why did you pull me over? Well, we're just going to shoot you because you asked a question. This is where it comes down, where you look at where we uh, gain that authority, or authority is given to us, but yet we have never stepped back to what does it feel like to be bossed around? What does it feel like to be the last in line? What does it feel like to be the line leader in school? And I have always suggested this, even from kindergarten. Like each day, one child is chosen to be the line leader, to be the one that gets, has all the jobs for like getting the pencils or doing this. They have that something for them to do as in leadership. Like a new person comes in, or that person would come forward and welcome to age appropriate, of course. And then the next day, someone else gets that position. And the one that was the leader, guess what? Now isn't back in the caboose to see what did it feel like? How did I behave when I was leader? And if we can get our children to start learning how to play both parts, oh boy, there's people that don't care to be a leader, but if they are put into that position, then they can also recognize those difficult choices that leaders at certain circumstances would have to make. And then they would be able to do the honoring instead of dismantling everything that because somebody else did it. Does that make sense?
Oh no, I know. And it's funny that you bring that up, because back when I was in kindergarten, Mrs. Petrie, whenever she would tell everybody to form two lines, everybody would just run up to the door. And the first 5 people in each line, she would make them go to the back of the line.
Back of the line. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Yep.
after that, she'd say form 2 lines. Everybody would be just nice and cautious. Nobody wanted to be up in the first 5 because nobody wanted to get sent to the back of the line. And then you got people that they just walk right up and they just stand in line because they really don't care, you know?
Yeah.
And then she wouldn't put anybody at the back of the line. So she always put people at the back of the line based upon how they acted to get to the front of the line.
Yep, exactly.
No, and that taught people to just walk up and get in line as you are. And she kept actually really, really good control. And I observed this when I was a kid,
Yeah.
you know, and it's really weird because it's just like, you know, people that thrive for power
Yeah.
usually aren't the people that are to be in power.
Yeah.
And I know that throughout my life, I never volunteered to be the leader. I never choose to be the group leader or the lead of this or the lead of that, or hey, we're going to have 4 people in a study group. We need to have a leader. I'm not the one that volunteers for that stuff, but I always get picked to be that.
You know, Paul, some of the greatest lessons that we've ever gotten were the ones that we learned in kindergarten. It's too bad that as adults we can't apply those lessons
Yes.
in our own political office space.
Yes. Yes. And see, that's why I want to bring stoicism to politics.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, my kindergarten was in
You might
where
date yourself. Careful.
one school had all 12 grades. The 12th graders would help the 10th grader, 10th to the 8th, the 6th,
Yep.
and then those that would take care of the kindergartens.
Yep.
And it worked out beautifully. You know,
Yeah.
one-room schoolhouses, they called them. And it was very quaint. It was very kindergarten, if I can call just a little bit, I think, was bring your own rug to take a nap on.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
well,
that-
you know, I remember seeing stuff like that when I was a kid and I watched Little House on the Prairie.
Well, it's about that time.
They didn't have TV when he was in kindergarten. No, I'm teasing.
No, they actually, what?
Never mind, hush.
It was still in black and white then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And it was very tiny. Very tiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And 3 channels, if that.
Yep.
With the
Yep.
rabbit ears, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. You know, I remember when we went from that little, you know, TV that's no bigger than my laptop, you know,
Yep.
and had the rabbit ears, and
your
we'd all have
laptop.
chairs, and we'd all, it's my iPad, and we'd all, you know, get in a chair and we'd gather around it. And then when my dad got like oh God, I think it was like the screen itself was like maybe 16, 18 inches. I can't remember,
Yeah.
maybe 21. But it was in the big box, you know, and you put all your decorations up on top and all the fun stuff and everything, you know.
Did you have rabbit ears?
Yes, yes.
Well, Paul, I was the youngest. So when my brothers would sit around, guess who was the rabbit ear adjuster?
Yeah, you were. See, my dad connected a big antenna outside to it, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I was the one that had to go outside and turn the damn. Is it good? What? Oh, go back. Is it good? Oh, you went too far. Oh, how about now? No, the other way. Huh? What?
No, hold it. Don't move. Just stand there. We got a great reception. Stand there. Don't let go of the pole.
You're the conductor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't move.
Yep. We had channels 4, 6, and 8, ABC, NBC, CBS. Yep.
Yep.
And on a good day, you could get channel 12, which was PBS.
I'll tell you what, we should really go back to that time frame because this is when America was super great. Seriously, let's just disconnect, you know, from everything. It's like, oh my gosh. You know, Paul, you know, I'm sure we could probably find some rabbit ears. They may have changed a little bit. Maybe you can stick them on a window or something. But yeah, I think I'm all in for that.
We have some in the yard.
Rabbit ears?
Yeah, they go pop, pop.
No.
All right.
Oh My.
Oh my.
Please, oh my. People, really, it's been an honor. It's like, each week just come through, and sometimes we just step in and, kind of let spirit guide uh what's to come forward. And I always have a tremendous amount of fun when this comes through. I mean, Diane and I, like last week, oh, come on. We, between like super high ceremony and everything, it was like, and I have to give an apology out because I really was the instigator. Yes, if you watched the video last week, oh, poor Diana was trying so hard
I
not to
know.
lose it. Her face, she was just trying so hard, and that was a good effort on my part.
See, she has her oh my. I have gee whiz, holy cow, jeepers creepers, goodness gracious. That was my
We
language.
also have all the shit.
Well,
Lickety split, Jiminy Cricket. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
all those good ones. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh
And,
yeah.
and I think now they have, what is it? WTF? Is that what the fun?
Yeah. What the fun. There you go.
Uh-huh.
Yes. All right. All right. Remember everybody that's watching or will watch this, remember to like, subscribe, and please share on Twitter. I'm no longer there, so please share it on Twitter for me. Share it with all your friends, family, relatives, followers, and the like. Get it out there. Who knows? I might be back. I may not. It really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing my show, and I'll keep doing all my episodes. And who knows? Maybe Threads one day I'll have a video platform, and I can share it on Threads.
Does Thread have anything like Spaces?
No, I
No,
wish it did.
it's just yeah.
Yeah, you can't even DM yet on Threads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're just doing your posts, but again, it really doesn't matter. It truly doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
At first, I went into a panic, and I was just like, "What am I going to do? What am I going to do?" And that's when your words came back to me and all that. Paul, you're being self-serving right now. You're being self-serving, and I'm sitting here going, "Oh my God, I need to serve self." And me being upset about
In a
this is
healthy way.
a thing. So why not just look at it like Diana looked at it?
Yep.
This is a blessing.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
just going to move forward. I'm going to deactivate my account and not worry about it. I don't need to have this stress on everything that's
Nope.
going on. Just
Nope.
boom. And there you go.
Yep.
So I'm a
There you
happy
go.
camper. I'm good with this.
You got it. And you know what will happen is those people that resonate with that beautiful, flowing, loving
Yep.
radiance of energy, we will, just like mercury, right? Take a little piece of mercury, you separate, what does it do? It comes back together. Yeah, we're going to end up finding, let's just say, a home,
Yeah.
someplace where we're not, people are not being targeted, people are not. Why? Because they're just not going to be able to match the frequency. And
Exactly.
there will come a time where that discord and those discordant people in every capacity, hey, you don't like what we have to say, then don't tune in.
Yeah. Yeah.
The pain and suffering is optional. And if
Yes.
you're tuning in and you're getting irritated and well, pain and suffering is not optional. Don't tune in.
Yep. Though I must say, I did miss not seeing Bryce in the comments. Usually Bryce throws something out there. Didn't see Bryce in the comments.
Yeah, Diana usually pops in too, and
but that's again, that's okay. As more people know that I'm not on Twitter, they're going to be more apt to, hey, I want to catch Paul in the moment on this show.
You got it. And in the for the YouTube videos, hey, let's again, I just love you guys, and it is an honor to be here, and thank you for playing.
And thank you, Paul, for all that you bring forth.
You're welcome, and thank you for all that you've taught me. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. That's the show. Love it, like
Hey,
it, leave
Paul.
it.
Hey,
Whatever.
Paul, just heads up. There's a pretty big pothole down at the bottom end of that kiss me ass turn.
Yep. Oh, I
Stay
know
to the
that. I know it's there.
or you could stay to the right. I mean, pain and suffering is optional.
No,
So
no.
flat tires.
There you go. There you go. All right. Thank you, everybody. And remember, be kind, be happy, and may good things come your way. Thank you.